Welcome to the Deep Dive. We dig into expert sources to pull out the core principles you need fast. Today, we're tackling something absolutely fundamental, high-converting sales copy. We've been really immersing ourselves in strategies from the best in the business. We're pulling out those core mechanics, the things that turn words on a page or in a video into actual revenue.
Yeah, and our mission here isn't just like listing tips. It's about building a sort of unified theory of persuasion based on what actually works. We're looking for those foundational principles, the ones that give you that, well, that unfair advantage everyone talks about. And it doesn't matter if you're selling, say, a $10 ebook or a $10,000 coaching package. These formulas, they work. They generate clicks, sales, profit, even if you're just starting out.
Absolutely. And the sources we look at, they really hammer this home. Copywriting isn't just a skill. It's maybe the most leveraged skill you can possibly learn. Leverage because, well, you write it once, right? And that sales piece, it just works for you.
Yeah.
127. You don't have to be there. It scales like nothing else.
It's your silent salesperson.
Exactly. That's why you hear that phrase, that conviction, repeated so often. You are one sales letter away from being rich. Maybe a bit dramatic, but the core idea is powerful.
Okay, so let's just baseline this. What is sales copy? Really simple, actually. It's just words. Words used with a specific intention to get someone to take an action.
Any action.
Pretty much. Could be buying something, sure, but it could also be opting into an email list, clicking a link, downloading a guide, anything. You see it everywhere. A tweet can be copy, an email subject line, a video script. If the goal is action, it's copy.
And the proof that this stuff works and that it's learnable is pretty compelling. One source shared this great story. They had this client with a 20-page corporate website, super complicated, nobody read it. They scrapped it, wrote one single long-form sales letter instead. The result, sales jumped 250% overnight.
Wow, overnight.
Yeah, and the same writer mentioned copy they wrote for a simple $29 product that pulled in $1.5 million in sales.
$1.5 million on a $29 product. That's incredible volume.
Yeah, right. That kind of efficiency, that's not luck. That's structure. That's psychology. It's the copy.
And that actually leads to a key piece of advice we saw repeated. You really should learn to write or at least edit your own copy, even if you plan to hire someone later.
Why is that so important?
Well, two main reasons came up. First, speed. You're not waiting around for a copywriter. No paying crazy rush fees if you need something quick.
Okay, makes sense.
Second, and maybe more critical, you avoid being held hostage by an external writer. You don't want someone else having that much control over your core revenue stream.
Right. You need to understand it yourself. So what makes it learnable? You said it wasn't like innate talent.
Exactly. It's not like writing a novel where you need boundless creativity.
Yeah.
It's much more like following a recipe or assembling IKEA furniture, maybe.
Okay, I get that analogy.
Yeah, you just follow the steps and it works. Sales copy uses specific, predictable patterns, proven structures. It's really an assembly process, which honestly makes it probably the fastest and most profitable type of writing to learn because the framework is already there for you.
Okay, so if copy is this super leveraged skill, what's the secret sauce? What makes it work so well? The sources really point to psychology. It's not the words themselves necessarily, but the emotions behind them. And the core insight seems to be this. Without a strong why, people they don't buy. We think it's about saving money or making money, but that's just the surface.
Yeah, that's just scratching the surface. People buy because of much deeper things.
Right.
Hopes, fears, dreams, core human stuff, the real motivations. Saving money, yes, but also saving time, avoiding effort, escaping pain, physical or mental pain, gaining praise or recognition. And maybe the biggest one, feeling more loved or connected. Your copy absolutely has to connect to one or more of those deep drivers.
Can you give an example? The source said some good ones that really made that connection clear.
Sure. Take a protein shake. The obvious feature is, protein, health.
Yeah.
But the benefit might be convenience and the meaning. Well, if you frame it as, this shake saves you 10 minutes in the morning,
Okay.
which means you have 5 extra minutes to spend with your kids before the chaotic school run. Now you've linked that shake directly to feeling like a better parent, feeling more connected, feeling more loved.
Right. That's much more powerful than just it's healthy.
Way more powerful, makes it urgent, emotional. Another example was executive coaching. The surface problem might be, my career has stalled, but the real pain, the mental pain, might be neglecting family because of work. So the copy could hit that directly. Agitate it even, like that line, little Timmy's starting to call the UPS guy daddy.
Oof. Yeah, that lands a bit uncomfortable, but it
It's
works.
a gut punch, right?
Uh-huh.
It connects directly to that core fear of losing connection, losing love. That's what drives action, not just improve your leadership skills.
Okay, that little Timmy thing really shows how deep you need to dig, which leads perfectly into another key principle, the nobody cares about you rule. Sounds harsh, but critical.
It is harsh, but it's true. Your prospect, the person reading or watching, they only care about themselves, their needs, their problems, their fears, their desires. If your copy starts with, our company was founded in, or we're proud to announce, you've lost.
So how do you fix that?
You consciously make them the hero of the story. Your story, your message has to revolve around them.
And there's a really practical tip for this, right? Like something you can physically do.
Absolutely. Audit your copy. Just go through it. Find every single I, me, my, we, our, ours, and then actively change the perspective. Flip it to you and your. So instead of, I want to tell you about our great new feature, try, here's something you need to know that will solve X for you. It's a simple switch, but it completely reframes everything around the prospect's world. Now, to keep that focus squarely on the customer, you absolutely have to know who you're talking to and where they're coming from mentally. This brings us to traffic segmentation, because it is never one size fits all with messaging. We basically categorize prospects or traffic into 3 temperatures. It reflects how aware they are of their problem and of potential solutions, including you.
Okay, break down those temperatures for us.
Sure. First, you've got hot traffic. These people already know you. They know your product. They're on your email list. They follow you on social. Maybe they've bought before.
Right, they're already warm, or hot rather.
Exactly. So they don't need the big emotional origin story. They need specifics. How can you help them right now? Maybe it's a special offer or a detail about a new feature.
Got it. What about warm traffic?
Warm traffic. They know they have a problem and they're actively looking for a solution. But they might not know you specifically or your product yet, so they're receptive. You can talk about the solution more generally, show proof it works, build some credibility.
Okay, and then the big one, cold traffic. This sounds like the hardest group.
It often is. Cold traffic. They know they have a problem.
Yeah.
Usually. But, and this is key, they might not even know a solution exists, or they don't believe a solution could work for their specific situation. This is usually the biggest audience segment, and the most challenging. Your message here has to start way back. You need to focus entirely on validating their problem first, make them feel understood, maybe educate them that solutions are possible before you even hint at selling anything.
So like a hot traffic ad might just show a discount code. But a cold traffic ad needs to start with, maybe, an article or a video, something that just talks about their frustration.
Exactly. You meet them where they are, which means you need to know precisely who they are. And the sources gave us a great tool for this, an avatar. FRED.
FRED. Tell us about Fred.
FRED represents your ideal customer. But crucially, Fred isn't defined just by demographics and, age, location, income, that surface stuff. Fred is defined by psychographics. What are his motivations, his attitudes, his hopes, his fears, his aspirations? What keeps him up at night?
And Fred is always tuned into a specific radio station, right? PQR, R2.
Haha, yeah, basically. FRED is constantly thinking about his problems, his questions, and his roadblocks. That's the PQR. That's his current reality.
Okay, problems, questions, roadblocks. And the R2.
R2 stands for the results he wants, the desired outcome, the transformation he's seeking. So Fred is stuck in PQR land, and he desperately wants to get to R2 land. Your sales copy, it's the bridge. It shows him exactly how to get from his problems, questions, and roadblocks to the results he craves.
So how do we figure out Fred's PQR2? We don't just guess, right?
Absolutely not. You research. You become a detective, the sources say. Mine existing conversations. Go read relevant forums, Reddit threads. Look at your own help desk tickets. What are people complaining about or asking for? Amazon reviews are gold mines, especially the 1-star reviews for the raw pain points, and maybe the 2 to 4-star reviews for the nuances, the it was okay, but feedback.
Ah, that's clever. The less extreme reviews.
Yeah, they show unmet expectations. Also check Google. What questions are people asking? Search for your niche mistakes or your niche problems. Fred is telling you his PQR2 loud and clear, you just have to listen.
Okay, so we know Fred, we know his temperature, we know his PQR2. Now we need to structure the message. You mentioned formulas earlier. What's the most effective one?
The one cited most powerfully, especially for cold and sometimes warm traffic, is PAS. Problem, agitate, solve.
Problem, agitate, solve.
Yeah.
Okay, problem and solve seem clear. What's the agitate part?
Agitate is where the magic happens. You don't just state the problem, like, it's hard to find good real estate deals. You make it worse. You pour salt in the wound, emotionally speaking.
Okay. I can see how that could work, but does it risk sounding manipulative? Just playing on fear?
That's a really important question, and the distinction the sources make is crucial. It's not about manipulation, it's about structured empathy. You're showing you truly understand how bad the problem feels by articulating the negative consequences clearly, vividly, the consequences of not solving it. So, with the real estate example, the problem is finding deals. You agitate by saying, and with all these new TV flippers jumping in, they're paying way too much, sucking all the profit out before you even get a chance to make an offer.
Right. You're describing a reality they likely already feel.
Exactly. You're amplifying the pain they already experience, not inventing fake fears. Then once they're really feeling that pain, then you introduce your solution, the hidden flippers detective tool or whatever it is, as the clear path away from that pain and towards the result they want.
All right, let's talk high-impact elements. The sources make a pretty bold claim about one specific piece of copy being more important than anything else. The headline.
Oh, absolutely. It's called the number one single most important piece of sales copy, EER, for good reason.
Why so critical?
Because if the headline fails, nothing else matters. The rest of your brilliant copy, it doesn't even get read. The headline has one job, and it's brutal. Stop them scrolling, grab their attention instantly, and connect emotionally, usually hitting a core desire or a major fear.
And the time investment reflects this, right? Didn't one source say spend like half your time just on the headline?
Yeah, up to 50% of the total creation time for the entire piece, just on the headline. It sounds crazy, but think about the leverage. If a better headline improves your click-through or open rate by just 1%, that can mean thousands, even tens of thousands, in extra profit down the line. It's the highest leverage point.
Okay, but crafting that perfect headline sounds daunting. Are there shortcuts for people learning?
Definitely. Use proven formulas. They're like training wheels for headline writing. One effective type combines curiosity with odd numbers, like 5 quick and easy ways to get desired result, even if common obstacle. That even if part is powerful, it overcomes their skepticism or past failures.
Right, it handles the objection up front.
Exactly. Or you can lean into fear or mistakes. Use warning language. Warning. Here's what every target audience member needs to know about topic. People are biologically wired to pay attention to warning.
Okay, so the headline grabs them. What's next? The sources talked about the workhorse of the copy, the bullets.
Yep, bullet points. But
Yeah.
not just any bullet points. There's a crucial distinction here we need to understand. We need to move beyond just listing features, what the product is.
Like this drill has a lithium-ion battery.
Right, and even beyond listing benefits, what it does for the user.
So you can drill more holes on a single charge.
Correct. We need to drill down, pun intended, to the meaning, the emotional payoff, the deeper why we talked about earlier.
Connecting back to those core motivations.
Precisely. And there's a formula for this too, the ultimate bullet formula. It feature so you can benefit, which means emotional meaning.
Okay, say that again. Feature, so you can benefit, which means emotional meaning.
That which means part is the bridge to the emotion. Let's use a different drill example from the sources. Feature. The drill has a magnetic plate near the chuck. Benefit. So you can keep screws handy and they won't drop, which means...
Which means you won't accidentally drop a sharp screw from a height where it could hit your kid playing nearby.
Bingo. Now you've linked a simple magnetic plate to the powerful, fundamental emotion of protecting your child. Love. Fear of harm. That's the level you need to hit in your bullets.
Got it. Feature, benefit, meaning. Okay, so we've got headlines, bullets, but how do we know if it's actually working as well as it could? This leads to testing, right?
Yeah.
Never accepting good enough.
Absolutely critical. A/B split testing. The sources are adamant. If you're not testing, you're almost certainly leaving huge amounts of hidden profit on the table.
Yeah, and the examples of this were pretty stark.
Unbelievable. One source mentioned a business that had been selling the same product for 10 years. Finally, they decided to test adding a simple one-time offer, an upsell, after the initial purchase. Profit jumped 30% instantly. They missed out on that extra 30% profit for a whole decade because they just assumed their setup was good enough and never tested that one variable.
Wow, 10 years of lost profit. That hurts.
Doesn't it? And that highlights the cardinal rule of testing, the one people break all the time. Only test one thing at a time.
Why is that so important?
Because if you change, say, the headline and the price in the same test and sales go up, well, what caused it? The headline, the price. You have no idea. You have to isolate the variable. Test only the headline or only the button color. or only the price. That way, you know for sure what actually moved the needle, and you can build on that knowledge reliably.
Okay, so wrapping this up, this deep dive really underscores a huge mindset shift needed for effective sales copy. It's less about being some kind of creative genius writer.
Yeah. Right. And much more about being a meticulous researcher and assembler.
Yeah. You assemble using proven structures like PAS. You define success through deep research into your audience, finding FRED in his PQR2, using those psychographics.
And remembering always that emotion drives the action. You have to connect to those core desires or fears we talked about. Move people towards pleasure or away from pain.
And that emotional connection, that ties into the need for, well, consistency, authenticity in your message. The sources strongly advise developing a unique voice, a personality, a persona even. They use that provocative line, love me, hate me, there's no money in the middle. You have to stand for something, force a decision.
Yeah, that's a powerful thought to end on, considering everything we've uncovered about these deep emotional drivers, about how people buy on emotion first. It really puts the pressure on, doesn't it? So the question for you, the listener, is how will you define your own consistent, unwavering position, your unique voice? How will you stand for something so clearly that people have to react so definitively that even the people who might hate your style or your strong stance still pay attention and maybe even consider buying because you've struck such a clear chord? Because trying to be bland and please everyone, that guarantees you'll connect with no one.
That's the challenge. Find your voice, know your audience, and build that bridge. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.